In Amsterdam, a municipal license decides who works behind the glass. In Hamburg, digital registries track every venue after dark. In Tokyo, entire economies operate inside a legal gray zone most visitors can't identify. The world's red light districts are shaped by forces almost no one discusses: centuries of port trade, post-war rebuilds, and civic negotiation. The gap between what travelers assume and what actually operates is where this story begins. The Wallen's narrow alleys trace back to Amsterdam's medieval harbor, where merchant ships once docked and sailors filled the city's taverns. As early as the 1600s, the city council tolerated prostitution in this quarter, aiming to keep the peace and protect transient workers from violence. Over centuries, these streets became known for their distinctive red-lit windows, a system formalized by municipal licensing that remains in place today. The legal framework changed decisively in 2000 when the Netherlands decriminalized prostitution and introduced the Sex Work Regulation Act. Every window into Wallen now requires a city-issued license, and operators must register with the Municipal Sex Work Advisory Council. The city's licensing office tracks permits and conducts regular inspections, a system intended to prevent unlawful trafficking and maintain public order. According to Marieke van Dijk, a senior municipal advisor, the licensing system lets us trace who is working where, which dramatically reduces illegal trafficking while keeping the streets safe for both workers and visitors. Strict rules shape daily life in the district. Since 2020, it is illegal to photograph occupied windows. Plainclothes officers and municipal handhavers patrol the alleys, issuing on-the-spot fines, often 150 to 300 euros, and confiscating cameras if needed. The city's stance is preventative. Staff intervene before a photo is taken, reminding visitors that the rule protects workers' safety and dignity. Tourism brings both revenue and tension. About 17 million people visit Amsterdam each year, and nearly a third pass through De Wallen. To balance the crowds with neighborhood life, the city enforces an 11 p.m. quiet hour, after which windows must close, and bans alcohol and cannabis use on the main streets. Guided tours require municipal permits, and multilingual signs warn against disruptive behavior. Beyond the reputation, De Wallen is home to 2,500 residents, family cafes, art galleries, and the Red Light Secrets Museum, which frames the district as part of Amsterdam's living heritage. For travelers, respect for local rules is not just a matter of law, but of sharing space in a community that has negotiated its identity for centuries. Hamburg's Reeperbahn began as a rope-making street, its name drawn from the German word for rope walks that supplied the city's port. By the 19th century, the area had become a magnet for sailors, dock workers, and musicians, setting the stage for its transformation into a nightlife corridor. The district's cultural identity sharpened in the post-war years when St. Pauli's neon-lit venues attracted artists, LGBTQ+ communities, and a wave of British bands searching for late-night gigs. The Beatles played more than 250 shows here between 1960 and 1962, a period that cemented the Reeperbahn's reputation as both a musical crucible and a site of permissive nightlife. Yet the openness that built the district's brand has also brought legal regulation. Since 2015, Hamburg's Sperrbezirk ordinance designates strict zones where solicitation is prohibited after 10 in the evening. Brothels and street-level venues must close their windows, and advertising is tightly regulated. The city police conduct regular spare zone checks, issuing fines to operators who breach zoning or allow unregistered activity. In 2021, a new mandate required all venues to keep digital visitor logs, tracking foreign clientele and producing data on nightly flows. These logs are checked during inspections, with non-compliance risking immediate closure or steep penalties. According to Chief Inspector Klaus Meyer of the Nightlife Enforcement Unit, the visitor log requirement gave us the data to spot illegal party tourist operations and intervene before they grow. For residents, the balance between cultural vibrancy and regulation remains uneasy. The St. Pauli Cultural Archive documents both the creative energy and the mounting tension over noise, crowding, and the digital reach of enforcement. Night enforcement officers now patrol with tablets, comparing live registry entries to the city's database, a process that has shifted the Reeperbahn from a sailor's strip to a data-monitored nightlife zone. The district's music heritage endures, but every venue now operates under the watchful eye of zoning maps and digital logs. Kabukicho's dense skyline tells the story of a city rebuilt from bombed-out rail yards and post-war black markets. In the late 1940s, as Shinjuku's old freight depot gave way to new construction, entrepreneurs filled the void with nightclubs stacked one atop another. These vertical venues, some as narrow as a single stairwell, became the model for Tokyo's nightlife, where space was scarce and every floor offered a different shade of entertainment. The legal foundation arrived in 1956 when Japan's entertainment business control law set strict boundaries. Prostitution was banned, but entertainment businesses could operate under license. The law drew a fine line between illegal sex work and permitted companionship, allowing hostess clubs, soaplands, and pink salons to flourish in the gray area. Registry lawyers like Yuko Tanaka described the resulting system as legal by omission. Venues register with City Hall, list their services, and submit to background checks, but the details of what happens behind closed doors are left deliberately vague. A 2008 Shinjuku ordinance tightened controls, mandating that all venues halt foreign solicitation after 2 a.m. and requiring operators to keep detailed guest logs. Police conduct regular sweeps, checking for unlicensed activity and enforcing the late-night ban. Hostess clubs, which dominate the upper floors of Kabukicho's towers, must display their license at the entrance and submit to periodic inspections. The Tokyo Sex Work Advocacy Group warns visitors to avoid private rooms unless accompanied by staff because unregistered spaces carry higher risks. Registry lawyers stress that while most licensed venues are safe, the legal ambiguity means enforcement can be unpredictable. The multi-story layout, born from post-war land scarcity, remains a defining feature, shaping both the economy and the legal workarounds that keep Kabukicho in business. Bangkok's red light night markets operate in a legal gray zone, shaped by decades of negotiation between local authorities, business owners, and the demands of global tourism. The 1996 Prevention and Suppression of Prostitution Act made sex work illegal, but municipal entertainment permits granted by the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration allow venues to host live shows, serve alcohol, and run as bars without direct mention of sexual services. This loophole gave rise to the bar fine system. Workers are officially employed as entertainers, but patrons can pay a fee to the venue to spend time with them outside. The money goes to the bar, not directly to the worker, sidestepping the letter of the law while keeping the business afloat. Venues display their entertainment licenses and operate openly, but police raids and anti-trafficking sweeps remain a constant risk. Enforcement swings sharply, especially before international conferences or in response to media scandals. Fines for venues can reach 100,000 baht, and workers may face arrest or deportation, particularly if they are migrants. The Bangkok Sex Worker Union warns that tourists are sometimes caught in sting operations, especially those who pay bar fines without understanding the legal risks. A union advocate puts it plainly: the law is clear, but the practice is tolerated until it is not. For visitors, what looks like a bustling market can turn into a legal trap with little warning. Nevada's approach to legal sex work stands apart from the world's urban red light districts. In 1971, the state passed a statute giving rural counties the power to decide by public vote whether to license brothels. Most counties that opted and limit the number of permits and require brothels to operate well outside residential areas, with zoning rules mandating at least 500 feet from schools and churches and 1,000 feet from homes. Every license is tied to strict public health oversight. The Nevada State Health Division conducts quarterly inspections, checking for up-to-date sexually transmitted infection tests, sanitation standards, and compliance with safety codes. All workers must prove they have lived in the county for at least 30 days before starting, and residency is re-verified each year, a rule designed to prevent transient trafficking and ensure regular health monitoring. According to a county licensing officer, we're not just checking paperwork, we're looking at the living situation, the medical records, and the safety of the premises. The Nevada Brothel Workers Association also performs random wellness audits and runs a confidential hotline for reporting violations. Tax revenue from licensed brothels supports local budgets, with some counties collecting more than $1.3 million annually. Advocates point to the inspection-driven model as a public health success, while critics argue that the remote placement isolates workers. Still, the system's emphasis on health checks, residency, and local control offers a regulated alternative rarely seen elsewhere. Responsible travel in red light districts begins with a clear code of conduct. A simple 5-point guide: respect, serves as a universal checklist. R for recognize local laws, E for engage with dignity, S for support worker rights, P for protect privacy, E for educate yourself, C for connect with local support, and T for take only memories, not photos. This mnemonic helps visitors remember that every district, regardless of its legal status, is also a workplace and a neighborhood. If you witness harassment, trafficking, or unsafe conditions, the international hotline +44 20 7739 8700 connects travelers to worker-led advocacy groups, including the global network of sex work projects and regional organizations like the Sex Workers Union of Queensland or Prostitutie Support Belgium. Many districts display contact details for local NGOs in multiple languages. Providing support to these groups by donating, volunteering, or simply following their guidance directly benefits those most affected by tourism. Ethical travel means acting with care, reporting abuse, and remembering that respect is the baseline everywhere. Red light districts still mirror the tensions between law, culture, and commerce in every global city. As debates over regulation and rights intensify, these neighborhoods remain a test of how societies balance safety, dignity, and freedom. The reality on the ground keeps asking, what do our choices reveal about us?